Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Hopkins with 7 Oily Days, and tonight we are going to talk about the small intestine. Who's excited about that? Exciting stuff. So it is July of 2026. And what's interesting about studying the Ultimate Balance book, we're going through the entire body over the course of this year. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see it? No, it blurs it out. Sorry. I'm still getting my office put together. So what's interesting about this is that the small intestine and the large intestine, small intestines in the summer and the large intestines in the fall, which I feel is really fascinating. And I want to read you, if you can read about the small intestines here on page 42, but I want to read to you about the small intestine from Growing Healthy Homes book, the Nutrition 101 Choose Life book. So some of this is repeated in this book, but I want to go into a little bit more detail here because it talks a little bit more about more parts of the small intestine. So the stomach squeezes and pushes the chyme into the small intestine through the pyloric valve, which triggers the release of hormones. So we have a pyloric valve that actually, so even within the digestive system, you're having hormonal release. These hormones stimulate the liver and the gallbladder to release bile and the pancreas to release a mixture of enzymes called pancreatin. The chyme, when in my backup, just one, the chyme is a mixture of bolus and stomach juices, the HCI and enzymes called chyme. So chyme then enters the first of three parts of the small intestine, which is called the duodenum. No, duodenum. Duodenum. Ah. That's the first part. The other two parts are the jejunum and the ileum. So the part, I'm going to go back to this one to say what each part does. Okay, the duodenum, fats are broken down by the bile secreted by the liver and gallbladder, and carbohydrates are broken down by enzymes secreted by the pancreas and from the duodenum itself. Absorption into the bloodstream of most of the nutrients takes place in the jejunum. The ileum finishes nutrient absorption and empties into the large intestine into the ileorectal valve. Okay, talks more about minerals, and I'm going to talk about minerals later, but I want to read some of this too. Okay. The highly acidic chyme combines with bicarbonate from the pancreas and changes the pH of the chyme from acidic to alkaline. So the chyme, the stomach bile and all that is changed in the small intestine. There will be more information. If you want more information about pH, that happens in other parts of the book. But pH balance, we talk about that and making sure your body's more alkaline than acidic. But the small intestine has a way of doing that with the body acids that's already been produced. So let's talk a little bit about the small intestine. It is not just a 20 to 25-foot tube carrying food from one end to the other. It's a place where most of digestion happens. There are many nutrients like vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and antioxidants that have been broken down from the food that need to get to the cells. Once in the cells, they provide energy, vitality, and the building blocks for bone and tissue growth. In order for these nutrients to gain access to the cells, they must be absorbed through millions of tiny finger-like projections that link the small intestine, which are called the villi. Nutrients absorbed through these channels, which run through the middle of the villi and are passed through the portal vein to the liver and then onward to your entire circulatory system to feed every cell in your body. Wow, pretty cool. The tiny villi increase the surface area of absorption in the small intestine to the size of a tennis court. That's pretty astounding when you start thinking about how amazing our bodies are made. Okay, think about this for a moment. Every morsel of food is destined for use by a cell in the body. So what are you feeding your cells? Sugar, synthetic flavorings, colors, dyes, chemical toxins? Or are you feeding your body quality, nutritious food that allows you to thrive, grow, and be healthy? Throughout the Bible, there's clear instruction in spiritual and physical nourishment, often as metaphors, but also to emphasize the importance of equal growth of the spirit in the body. Pretty cool. Okay. So that's a little bit about the small intestine. And again, like I said, small intestine, we'll talk about the large intestine in the fall. But as we look here through what's recommended, even between Nutrition 101 and in the Ultimate Balance book, it talks about a Mediterranean diet that's high in complex fatty acids and minerals. Minerals are very, very important for all aspects of our body, but especially for why for that part of the body? Because of the digestive system, because of the absorption and then distribution. Things moving from your digestive system and then into your circulatory system to feed your cells. Pretty cool. All right, so it's early summer. So as we start to talk about the small intestine, this is the time of year to take care of it. Your chakra point is going to be the organ reflex point. Okay, it's our sex chakra, is the small intestine. And then our organ reflex point. Now, this one, when I was looking at this earlier today, I thought this was really fascinating because it takes some little ziggy zaggies. And I don't wonder if that's because of its loopy nature in our body. So you start on the right pinky, and you're going to work all the way down or up the finger and arm across the shoulders. And there's some ziggy zaggies as you look on there. And then you're going to come across your shoulder and up to your cheekbone and then back to the lower temple area. And that's your meridian point. That's your entire meridian for the small intestine. The neurovascular point is going to be on the side of the head. And then interestingly enough, your Vitaflex points. Now, when we do the colon and we do the large intestine, everyone's probably pretty familiar with how we do that. And it's up, over, down, and out that we learned in care. A lot of us have learned in care. But for the small intestine, it's right here. Just these 2 points kind of in the center, right here in your foot. So, right in that arch area of your foot. Okay, looks like I froze there for a second. The time of day is 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So it'd have to be an afternoon meal afterwards. A lot of times is when your small intestine is resetting. So the opposite organ is the liver. The chakra color is orange and the musical note is D, for those of you following along with that. Conditions that might indicate you have problems in the small intestine are abdominal bleeding 1 to 2 hours after meals, or specific foods make you tired or bloated, pulse speeds after eating, so if your heart rate increases, alternating constipation and diarrhea, wheat, grain, or dairy sensitivities, bizarre, vivid, or nightmarish dreams, and coated or fuzzy debris on your tongue. So let's talk about some emotions to go along with this, and then we'll talk about products. I thought this was really interesting that the negative emotions associated with the small intestine are lack of compassion, lack of hope, and lack of charity, gut feelings, and then the positive would be gut feelings, compassion, love, hope, and source of power. The affirmations are: I have faith, hope, and charity. I listen to my gut feelings. I know the source of power. And some of you know the word gut or inner knowing, splankna. That's something that some of you guys know and are familiar with, and know that I've done training in it. Several people in our group have done training in that. And I love splankna because it gets to the internal knowing that within your electrical system. So you can do emotional healing with that for sure. Some of the blends, if you look at the blends here, they are directly related to what we're talking about from the emotion standpoint. joy, hope, harmony, sensation, and then digize and purification. Pretty much anybody, if you know digize, digestion, that's going to be anything for the digestive system, but then also purification because of just the way that the small intestine is interfacing with a lot of the things that we eat to be able to have use purification. Also, the lemongrass in that. Um, Fantastic. Peppermint is your single oil. Fennel is another single oil. Those are fantastic. I would add spearmint to that list because that's another fantastic oil for the digestive system. Now, what about products? There are this list that's here, it's good, but we have some new products as well that are not on the list since the book's been reprinted. So Comfort Tone is something that I have loved and used. We've had it for years. ICP, those are two products that we had that when we have our liver detoxification duo, that replaces it. So Essential Zyme, that's another one. And when you look at those, if you think about the cleansing trio, those are all as well involved in the cleansing trio. So essential zymes, there's two types of essential zymes. There's one that's a tablet that you can take, and it has built in the slow release and the quick fast acting enzyme. So it's just one thing. You take that one before meals. And then the one that it comes in the blister pack, that's Essential Zymes 4, that has the two that you take and you do those with meals. Why is that? It's because the tablet is slow release and the Essential Zymes 4 is fast acting. It's a quicker release. Another one to do would be the inner defense. The inner defense, I will say, I have muscle tested for this one. And when I've been dealing with something, I will a lot of times muscle test, and sometimes I needed to take 3 or 4 inner defense. So you just need, some people are like, oh, I don't know if I can handle that. But if your body needs it, your body, you might feel a little bit I've felt it before, kind of right in here. It's kind of like going after any indigestion, but inner defense will be aggressive, if you will. You can also bypass the digestive system, so to speak, if you were to take the inner defense, and I say bypass the digestive system. You could put it on topically on your stomach. You could poke a hole in it and squirt it on your stomach, but the capsules are meant to be taken internally. But if you have a child or someone who maybe not able to take the capsule, that's an option. Put it on their feet, on those VitaFlex points that I showed you. Right here. Those points are right in the heel, or the arch. And then also doing cleansing. So the 3-day nutritive cleanse, I mentioned there, the cleansing trio, that is a 30-day supply, doing the daily detoxification that's triggered for the liver. Any of the Juva products that we talked about with the liver, those are good too. But then the 5-day cleanse is another one as well that you can do for the small intestine. And then, of course, this master cleanse is listed here. So I want to read briefly to you a little bit about the master cleanse for those of you who have never heard of it or need a refresher. And their books. This is Master Cleanse is not a Young Living thing. It's totally separate. But I will read this. The Master Cleanse is not a fast, but a cleansing program. A true fast consists only of water, while the Master Cleanse incorporates a mixture of lemon juice, maple syrup, and cayenne pepper that is consumed throughout the day and is a source of calories, vitamins, and minerals. The Master Cleanse is ideal for anyone who is not diabetic and can safely cleanse for at least 3 to 7 days. The ideal duration of a cleanse is 1 to 3 weeks. As with any program or caloric restriction, however, it is strongly recommended that you consult with your healthcare professional before undertaking any extended fast or cleanse. So here's what you do. It is take the juice of half a fresh lemon, preferably organic lemon. You mix the juice with 8 ounces of distilled water. Then you add 1 to 2 tablespoons of grade B maple syrup, and then up to 1/10 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Start with a pinch or 2 of cayenne and gradually increase it to 1/10 teaspoon. Do not put the cayenne pepper into capsules and take separately from the lemonade drink. It changes the action of the formula and it is sent directly to the stomach. It can cause inflammation and excessive mucus secretion. This may lead to sinusitis or to bowel mucus and can even contribute to the inflammatory bowel syndrome. Drink as many as 10-ounce glasses per day required according to your body weight. So we know that formula is whatever your body weight is, drink half your weight in ounces every day, right? If you weigh 100 pounds, then you should drink half your weight, which means 50 ounces or 5 glasses. Grade B maple syrup is one of the most balanced of all sugars, containing a balance of positive and negative ions. Grade B does not enter the bloodstream as rapidly as honey or sugar, which is better for people who react adversely to sugar, or become restless, sleepless, energetic, or maybe borderline or pre-diabetic. Diabetics should substitute blackstrap molasses for the maple syrup using a 1/4 tablespoon. Contrary to popular belief, lemon is not acidic in the body. It turns to alkaline in the mouth, and if an acidic-like reaction is observed when using lemon with water, it is because of the minerals in the water. Distilled water will not react in this manner. Cayenne pepper is a blood vessel dilator, a thermal warmer, and provides vitamin A. People who have type O blood tend to have poor circulation, and as a result, their body temperature may drop during a cleanse. Because cayenne is an herb known for its ability to warm and restore circulation, it may be taken internally and used topically, especially on the feet, but in small amounts. Cayenne pepper is also thermogenic. When used in a dietary program, it can facilitate an increase in the body's ability to burn fat. For the deepest cleanse, it is recommended that you cleanse for at least 2 weeks and consult with your healthcare provider before embarking on any calorie restricting program. Exercise enhances the cleansing action of the program. During the middle and later phases of the cleanse, the body chemistry changes and the energy levels may begin to increase. One may experience minor discomfort, such as headaches, upset stomach, or low energy, as toxins and parasites are released from the body. These symptoms will be short-lived. And I will tell you, I've done the master cleanse usually when I do it for about 10 days. Sorry for that, my eye scraping there. I had a little itch, but usually when I do mine for about 10 days, and I can tell you the first few days, a lot of times are the ones that I struggle with the most if I'm feeling low energy. Just mainly also because I'm used to drinking a lot of Ningxia Red, and that's my antioxidant drink, and I love it. And so sometimes just at the beginning of this cleanse, it can be a little tough to do that. It is important to have a positive attitude during cleanser fasting. If you are unaccustomed to this process, you can prepare yourself by fasting 1 week, Sunday or your Sabbath day, or 1 day a week. Sunday or on your Sabbath day is a wonderful day for this purpose. The biggest obstacle to successful cleansing is fear of failure and not knowing what to expect. To fast for 24 hours, it is easiest if you begin at noon and finish at noon on the following day, or fast from one dinner to the next. Again, drink plenty of water. As you begin to fast, you may experience some unpleasant side effects, such as headache, nausea, bloating, or irritability. These symptoms are part of the cleansing response and are often a result of toxins and waste matter being purged from the body, which usually takes place within 12 to 36 hours. If you experience these symptoms, you can cut back on your fluid intake and drink vegetable juices, carrot juice, celery juice, and celery juice, carrot and celery mixes, or eat carrot with celery, spinach, and broccoli. Juice, and then carrot with a little apple juice, or carrot, apple, and lemon is good to facilitate the continuation of the cleansing. 6 ounces of carrot juice, 1 ounce of apple, and half an ounce of lemon will keep the pH steady, slow the diarrhea, and keep the cleansing action going. If you're feeling nauseated and bloated, it is an indication of 2 possibilities: poisons being released at a very rapid rate and maybe backing up in the liver. So keeping the liver cleansed and flushed is extremely important. So it would be good to take ledum in a capsule at night or early morning. Ledum has a very strong effect on the liver and kidneys as a diuretic and bile duct dilator. The second reason for feeling ill is that the colon may not be eliminating well because of spastic colon, loss of peristalsis, which is that wave-like motion of the intestines that moves waste out of the body, and or prolapsing with restrictions from kinks, loops, or twists in the colon. Hydrocolon therapy is a powerful treatment for cleansing the body and assisting in restoring peristalsis. You can call a colon hydrotherapist or buy a Colima board to begin this therapy. In any case, you may want to consult your healthcare professional. So those are all tips about cleansing. And I will tell you when you've been cleansing, when it mentioned here taking capsule Leadum, and I have taken capsules during cleansing, and I can tell you that your usual amount that you take, a full capsule is not necessary if you're taking capsules while you're cleansing. You need a smaller amount. So I took some one time. I was working on my gallbladder and my liver, and I took an entire capsule of GLF, gallbladder liver flush function, sorry, and vitality. And let's see, I took it in the morning, and by that afternoon, I was with my daughter at a piano lesson, and it was the type of lesson, it was like a group lesson where the parents are there with them and they're interacting. And so the teacher's teaching, and we're all helping these little, kindergarten, first graders. And by the end of it, I was kind of just kneeling next to the piano, going, just trying to breathe. And so I think Ava thought I was, she kind of kept looking at me like, y'all right there. But I went back and basically couldn't move very far from the toilet for a while. But the next day I felt fantastic. Energy returned. So it's not that it wasn't wrong what I was doing. It was just too rapid. It was too rapid. And another thing that can help with the rapid, I mean, you run into do the juices and stuff, but if you get into a position, you don't want to be having such rapid elimination. You want to mostly be all your liquids or, your urine. But if you have super rapid, or anyone who has extended diarrhea, I recommend having charcoal tablets on hand, because basically what that does is acts like an absorber and a sponge and helps to, create some solidification to the waste. So that makes sense. So those are the main things about cleansing. And understanding cleansing, we work on the small intestine in the summer, we work on the large intestine in the fall. And I think it's important, you can cleanse throughout the year. And what we're trying to do with these cleanses and talking to you about cleansing is going, okay, guys, we have to take care of these internal organs, these filters that we have in our body. We have to take care of them and give them rest. You change your air filters, your oil filters, all these things in your vehicles and in your home. Well, we've got to take care of this temple too. And so this is a good time of year to stop and do that. It's also a great time of year to stop and do it whenever you are in the fall and heading into that the time of year where you're not going to get as much sunlight and be outdoors in the fresh air as much. So that's what I would suggest, is now would be a good time to do it, using your Young Living products while doing it. And I will tell you, I want to read this part too that Gary Young wrote about cleansing with and emotions, because when we cleanse, there are a lot of times things that are going to try to hold on while we're cleansing. And we want to make sure that we are fully able to release emotions as well, right? So during cleansing, you may have an unexpected emotional clearing. There are various essential oil blends designed to help control your emotions and modulate and facilitate the emotional release. Herbs such as St. John's wort, kava used with caution, and hops extract are excellent for managing stress and negative emotions. The essential oils of valerian, Roman and German chamomile, and lavender are especially beneficial. Essential oil blends with chamomile and lavender are tangerine, lavender, Roman chamomile, and blue tansy are calming and relaxing. What does that sound like? Peace and calming. Lemon oil can be very calming. Most citrus oils containing aldehydes can be calming, and in these situations, vitamin B12 and folic acid are important for emotional stability. A lot of times I'm not taking vitamins during a cleanse. I'm giving my body a rest, but if I start to notice some shifts in my emotions, a lot of times I will still continue to do minerals, just because it helps with staving off headaches and helping with any kind of like a nutrient loss and continuing to work towards the absorption of what I am taking in. Ideally, these herbs or oils should be taken using oral infusion therapy, sprayed onto the inside of the mouth where they can be, and delivered into the blood or directly into the tongue, right, guys? The first 2 to 4 days of a fast are often the most difficult since you will be overcoming the powerful psychological need to eat. As your body is cleansed of parasites and putrefying toxins, you will experience a sudden surge of energy and well-being. Tapeworms, pinworms, roundworms often start to appear in your stools after 4 to 6 days, and physical hunger will fade away. As the cleansing progresses, your mind will become sharper, your memory will improve, and your spirit will become more buoyant. Remember, it is crucial to drink plenty of distilled water throughout the day, at least 8 to 10 glasses. And water is crucial for not only flushing out toxins, but maintaining the metabolic machinery of your cells and tissues in proper working condition. Okay, so that's a starting point for everyone to think about the small intestine. I want to know if you're going to be cleansing. What are you going to be doing? Which cleanser are you going to choose? If you've never done it before, start with that 30-day cleanse with the, if you've, having enzymes, having the daily prebiotic fiber from Young Living is fantastic. And then also continuing, because that has prebiotic fiber as well. So you're continuing to give your gut what it needs. If you want to get more in depth, you can do the 5-day cleanse, the 5-day nutritive cleanse with Balance Complete, and your enzymes as well, and then your digest and cleanse capsules and Ningxia Red. So that's another option. And then, of course, we have the master cleanse that I talked about. That's much more in depth and detailed, but it's very can be very timely and very effective as well. So I hope you guys, I'll see if there are any questions tonight. I hope you've enjoyed this and are learned a little bit more about the small intestine. I love reading back through these books, one of which that I helped write, and remembering things and fun facts about how amazing our bodies are. So I'm very happy that you guys were able to join us tonight. And next week is going to be Sarah's option. She'll be on. The following week is, let's see here. Sarah will be on next week. And then I will be on, she's going to be on the 20th. I'm not going to be on. I take that back. That's going to be Landis and Robert Feltz. You don't want to miss that because he is considered now a medical anomaly. He had a major health crisis this year, major surgeries planned, and then the doctors were like, whoa, what happened? How did you do this? And a big part of what he did was through his diet. So Robert and Landis are going to talk about that testimony. So you don't want to miss that on July 20th. But all right, good night, everybody. If you don't have questions, and we'll see you next week. God bless you.